Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video I want to tell you which character is best for long-term investment. If any of you are planning to build characters for the long run, you are a relatively small spender, free-to-play player, you don't want to waste too much resources, you want to get versatile characters that scale in the long run, don't get subject to power creep and stuff like that, I'm going to share with you my thoughts in this video. I'm not just going to share with you one or two characters, I'm going to give you quite a number of options depending on what playstyle that you have or even want to play into. A quick disclaimer, of course, this is a CBT 3 information currently, but we have been playing since CBT 1, so we played with Miyabi, tested her out a lot as well. Now also we have Zhuyuan, who we tested in the trial scenario, where every time they release a new character, there's always a trial scene. We spam that to get her. Unfortunately, they give too little in CBT 3. We will definitely do updated ones when the official launch arrives for more character-specific guides. This video likely will still stand, because from CBT 1 to 3, the multipliers did change, maybe some skill AoEs change, but roughly the character's function and purpose stayed more or less the same. So let's get into it. I won't waste time on this channel as always. Let's first talk about the first character that I highly recommend, and I think that character is going to be Grace Howard. In my opinion, she's probably one of the characters that is going to scale best with time, especially if you care about electro teams and characters that want to play in an electro team. Why do I like her a lot in a sense is she's the only anomaly character currently in Zenless Zone 0. Anomaly characters build up anomaly weakness, so you are able to proc the shock effect on the enemy quicker, do more damage with shock. If you are interested to know more about anomaly and this whole unique aspect, we have a video on the channel already. Do check it out if you want more theory. But if you don't care about any of that, this is very similar to Elemental Mastery break effect in Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail, depending on which game it came from. Otherwise, a pretty interesting character to play. She has very little on-field time. She just throws her bomb in her special attack and then pretty much like swaps off. Her ultimate is also just bombs that she throws. So she applies a lot of electro with very little amount of field time. She does a lot of electric anomaly build-up. So you scale with another subset, not just scaling a crit rate, crit damage. You also scale with anomaly if any of you are interested in that aspect of things. A little bit more complex in character to play because you have to care about one new different mechanic of set specific to Zenless Zone 0. So any of you playing other games might not be too intuitive at the very beginning. But of course she has other buffs also. The enemy's shock suffers increased by 25%, stacks up to 2 times, and blah blah blah. Why also she's quite interesting is because given that she's the only anomaly character in the game currently, she has access to a lot of anomaly gear as well, which as you can see increases anomaly mastery. Very cheap to get. You don't even need too much investment. I don't have too much purple gear on this CBT3 account, but she's still doing a lot of damage on the side as well. So anomaly is very efficient to build. Scales with time. She's a support, low field time, does a lot of damage. I really like that from a quick swappy kind of aspect. If you're a person who likes to play with a main on-field DPS, who takes out a lot of field time, let's say like Ellen, who really wants to be on-field and do DPS, I think Grace is really solid. Good flexibility, especially if you want like a bit of long-range firepower. You like playing with Billy for that long range. Grace offers you like an intermediate range and can be slightly longer as well, but might not be as efficient as a character like Billy. But I really like Grace a lot. Probably my recommendation, the character that will go the longest way, one of the characters that will go the longest way out of all of them as well. Another character I think is really strong is Nicole. She shares a lot of similarities to Grace, being very low on-field field time, does a lot, and she's of the support class, which means that she's able to buff units as well. I talked about Nicole a lot more in our 4-star analysis video where we talk about tier lists of all of them. I really like Nicole a lot because of her supportive ability. She buffs a lot of damage for your teammates. You can see like defense reducing the enemies, increased Aether damage, working very well on Aether teams. She has good amounts of crowd control with her special attack and ultimate ability to just suck everyone in. It's like a Venti's ultimate from Genshin Impact, but a little bit smaller of CC, is like a tornado sucking people in. Not as much as Venti, but still very nice considering she's a free character too. And a lot of supportive units, a lot of supportive gear, and she has access to the Aether set, which buffs corruption, which buffs damage taken from the enemy when they are inflicted by corruption, which means she works well outside of like a Aether team. You can just plug and play her like the only character and she will buff your team with this amazing set. Is in my opinion, one of the best sets in the game as of current time of recording. So 2 characters I think are really good scaling for long term. She's also the only Aether character, so of a rare element to begin with. If you need some elemental coverage, Nicole is definitely there. The enemies that are strong against Electro are weak to corruption, or Aether, this is something that is good to know. So a hybrid of Electro as well as Aether is a very good hedge for enemies that if you're attacking content that is of whatever element there is. So that aside, let's talk about another character that is worth mentioning. I think the other character probably that is good building for the long run might be a character like Sokaku, especially if you are going into a only ice team. Supports characters generally are higher up on my list because games generally like to power creep DPS characters a little bit more, but not all supports are good. Sokaku is probably ranked 3rd because she does take up a lot of field time. Although she does a lot of buffing in her overall kit, she buffs ice damage, she even transfers attack to the other team members, so a massive amount of attack buff, ice damage, she does some crowd control as well, good amounts of ice application in her overall kit. We're not going to talk about more stuff like the copies of characters because these tend to change quite a lot, but characters like Sokaku I think scale really well, quite good to have as well. The other DPSs here, I think Ellen is going to be a pretty safe pick to have. Although she's classified as an attack character, I find that she has a good quick swapping potential as well because her on-field time of that like spear that she slams on the ground and stuff like that does good amounts of AoE, very similar to a character like Anton in the AoE, radial AoE fashion. Has good on-field presence, but yet can be swapped to a sub-DPS, just quick swap bursty kind of mode, where she just on the field for a really short amount of time. That flexibility I think is worth mentioning about this character. Has good amount of mobility on the map, so she can dodge a lot of obstacles too. I think Ellen is also quite decent in the long run. For her utility in the long run, for early game, she's definitely a strong DPS. I want to just give that caveat. If she gets power crap, she's going to be meant for her off-field sub-DPS role, which she can fulfill, as well as the ability for her to, for example, transition more into utility with her overall kit. Characters like Zhu Yuan is tricky because I really wish this character was Anomaly, then she will be like the grace of the corruption, which makes her like super top tier, at least like support or Anomaly. But because she's attack means that she has significantly less Anomaly mastery stat scaling, less supportive gear that she can use. She really becomes more of like an on-field DPS. Rare element, good overall kit that I like from this character, but really if only really she was Anomaly, I think she would scale really well. But overall I think she's still pretty decent, good range, good on-field time, good burst ability, has access to a really good set, so I think this character is also pretty solid. You can't really go wrong with either limited characters depending on really like what you're looking for in a character. I hope for launch they change this to support or Anomaly. If they do, I think she will be really fantastic and probably on par with either of these two characters, if not number 1 on the list as well. The other characters are so is very situational depending on what you're looking for. Rina is difficult to play. I rather Grace a lot more because Rina at the highest level does want a lot more field time, but she does offer some sort of supportive ability that is a little bit complex to master for any new player into the game. It's very comfortable to play like Billy. Definitely a cushy character, but might not scale best with time despite her being of the support class, but it's not an easy character to play in my opinion. Other characters that I think are worth honorable mentions will be characters like Ben, who is the only defense character and offers the only ability to shield in the game. Probably my top pick for honorable mentions, but not everyone is going to want to play a tanky character. Some of you who are better at fast hands can dodge. Generally, enemies that attack very quickly and sporadically, defending is a lot better, and that's when Ben really shines. If you are kind of like know when the enemy is going to hit you, dodging is a lot better because you have more DPS in that sense from your quick dodging and counter attacking too. So yeah, that is my opinions of the top few characters that best scale with time. Of course, scaling with time is very different from how good they are right now and doing damage, which is why I think you should check out the tier list that we have, which will really apply to new players in the game to guide you on the right path rather than just thinking long term, because most importantly is you want to enjoy the game in a short run. So check that video out if you're interested. Click on the video here, or otherwise check out on the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.